Oh, come on. This thing never goes live that fast. Okay, guys. Fresville Comic Book University. I'm still sick. I just did my spotlight on story for crying out loud. What the heck was it called? You know what it's called. Spotlight on story for Fear Itself the Fearless. That's what it was. So, yeah. and just that was killing my voice, everything. And just, I need this thing to heal. I need this to go away. I need to get back to normal. All right, a couple things to talk about. First off, oh my God, huge news. Beta Ray Bill is going to be coming back to, oh my God, there are already people here. Sean s.h.i.e.l.d, what's up, brother? Yes, I will be talking about your news in a minute. And Nova Bro, what's going on, little brother? Nova Bro is going to be coming back onto YouTube pretty soon. I'm on YouTube right now. He's going to be coming back to YouTube pretty soon. What's up, Isaiah Quinn? How you doing, brother? Thank you, man. And, yeah, what day did you say that was going to be? Did you say that was going to be the 31st of this month? So, like, Halloween? What? Remind us in the chat, please. So, Beta Ray Bill is going to be coming back to comics. He's going to be coming back in the Marvel Legacy era. And, what do you call it? He's going to be appearing in the Guardians of the Galaxy's comics. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff that was coming out about Legacy, and because New York Comic Con is happening right now. And, I don't really care about most of the stuff they're saying. But seeing Beta Ray Bill come back would be very cool. Very happy about that. There's also a whole lot of news about Milestone Comics. That's going to be pretty huge. That's going to be hot. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm actually wondering, the biggest, like, they got some incredible stories, incredible characters and everything, you know, like amazing art. Holy crap, Ken Lashley is going to be joining them up for some things. Lashley's all over the place. He's in Marvel, he's in DC, he's going to be in Milestone, which is technically a part of DC, but whatevs. Going to be doing, on the 13th. Nova Bro's going to be live streaming on the 13th. So next week, hopefully, but I will tweet at you when it is definite. All right, awesome. So, one of the things I'm really wondering about Milestone is because there are people who love to punch themselves in the face and kick themselves, you know, below the belt. I can't help but to wonder why they like to do that. Why people like to be so masochistic. Doesn't make sense to me. The people who are all like anti-SJW this, anti-SJW that. I'm wondering, I don't know how you could possibly have a comic book company like Milestone without having a couple of very interesting, wow, my camera's just all sorts of ugly right now. You're seeing the inside of my soundproofing box. But, yeah, I don't see how you could possibly have Milestone without addressing all of the social issues that exist today. I just don't see how that's possible. So, that being the case, it's going to be interesting because there are going to be people who are going to buy it just so they can hate on it. See, I don't get stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that. To me, that's like putting your hand in a lion's cage to have him gnaw on it a little bit just so you can be like, yeah, this freaking lion, man. Like, I don't get it. He's biting my arm. Like, what's up? Why? Why? This is so stupid. And then want to, like, rip the lion. Try ripping a lion. Anyway. So, yeah, just, I don't know. People just love to hate read, and I don't get that. Sean, that Medusa Gorgon thing, I'm getting there. Reminds me of how Grant Morrison made it seem like Gene and Scott were just a high school crush and not a mature romance. Exactly. Isaiah Quinn, they announced Black Panther book that kind of looks like DC Year One book. Yes, Isaiah Quinn, you were on this stuff, dude. I actually don't even have that down from my notes, but, the person who's going to be writing the new Black Panther book, I just started following him on the Twitter machine, seems pretty cool. They're going to be changing things up a lot. Like, as opposed to Black Panther trying to keep things to the status quo and through tradition, Black Panther is rather going to be opening up to new things. Now, T'Challa has always been about, in fact, most of the Black Panthers have been about, send our brightest and best outsource them to get education from around the world. And then, they can bring it back, and eventually Wakanda wound up becoming the hub of not just engineering, but all academia, and the hub of technology, the hub of advancement, And that's how they pulled it off. That's one of the ways they did it. Of course, they had a lot of money too, but they were very open and whatnot. So this is apparently going to switch that up a little bit. Like Black Panther's been told, T'Challa himself has been told on both sides of that story, but this is going to be a very different kind of origin story, which is, they're already saying it's going to clash with some things, but it's going to be done in a good way. I'm looking forward to it. I genuinely am. Just don't mess with what Ta-Nehisi Coates is doing, because, dude, I see that dude almost everywhere now. Like, I'm watching this guy, like his new book. You know what? I got to get his new book. I keep on talking about that. His new book. What the heck was that thing called again? We Were 8 Years in Power. Yeah, because that just looks good. That just looks good. They announced yeah, gotcha. Isaiah also says it's supposed to be about T'Challa first year as king. Yep. Lionel Goldsmith, hello. I don't think we've ever met, but says, I love your videos. So much respect for your point of view, being honest and laden with integrity. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate. Lionel, I'm going to assume your gender and say thank you, brother. What do you, I know we're not supposed to do that anymore, but no, genuinely, I appreciate that. Stick around, subscribe. Tuition at Comic Book University is always free. And yeah, I will always wear my heart on my sleeve. I will shoot straight. And yeah, I have no problem calling things out the way that, I see them. But I will also listen to other people's sides, and I don't try and act like I'm a know-it-all. Too many guys and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, not a single person, but there are enough comic book channels out there where they kind of act like they know everything about comics. I don't know everything about comics. I don't think anybody can. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody in any profession can know everything about their profession. It doesn't make sense. But I appreciate the compliment. Thank you, sir. Nova Bro, I'm going to go to the comic book shop and record it all. Oh, nice. What's the best thing? What is the best thing to buy currently? The best thing to buy currently, Mr. Miracle is outstanding, and similar to outstanding would be Astonishing, hence Astonishing X-Men. Those are two of my absolute favorites right now. And I have yet to see a bad Champions book. That's that. As far as like indie stuff, dude, check out that Dark Arc. Only issue 1 came out. It's Cullen Bunn, and he's destroying it. Like, what a great... You'll see other people, that's Aftershock Comics, you'll see people sitting there reading it and talking about it, and they're just like, yeah, I did this and this and this and this and this, and all these amazing things. You're like, oh, wow, this is the guy who did those things. Now I can see a face to the name and, all that. And just like, and I'm so mad at Cullen Bunn for doing this Dark Arc idea, because why didn't I think of that first? It's like, that's mad respect. That's great respect right there. So I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Yeah, definitely check out those 4 titles I mentioned, but anything else, by all means. And also, if you're going to be talking about comics, absolutely talk about the current events that are going on. Talk about DC's Metal. Talk about the Venomverse that just passed, and talk about the legacy that's going on right now. That's the big thing. Isaiah Quinn, I don't understand people who buy comic books and they hate just to burn it, even though do you see people burning the comics too? That's sick. Even though they just gave their money to the company they hate. See, exactly. I don't get that. That's just, you know what? I don't try to ascribe to any religions like that. Okay, I've got my own personal beliefs, but I came to those beliefs by studying, I feel, every single religion out there and as many denominations of each religion as I possibly can. Do you know there's 3 different kinds of Buddhism? Did you know that? Yeah, and all the denominations of Christianity. There are several in Judaism, several in Islam. Like, just you name it, and I'm pretty sure I could talk your ear off about said religion, including mythologies. It's something that I've always loved, and I could quote from scripture. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. Forget that. But like, I could quote from several different scriptures, because like that's that's something growing up. That's something I've always kind of been like an isolationist, a loner. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was in the army, like you don't have time to do anything but just sit back and read. And sometimes you go to church, sometimes you sit in a Bible study, and sometimes you want to do something else. You know what I'm saying? Like you just want to go and check out something else. Oh, you're a Mormon? You got like 3 books over there? Yeah, the Pearl of Great Price, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, yeah, pass it along. I'll read it. Why not? Just for the sake of reading it. But what do you call it? Yeah, the Buddha Siddhartha Gama. He said one time, anger is akin to, or getting angry at someone is akin to picking up a hot coal with the intent to throw it at your enemy. But at the end of the day, the only person you actually burn is yourself. Like, even if you hit the guy, you're going to hit him, it's going to fall off. He might get a little ash on his face. You know what I'm saying? If you're even that lucky to hit him in the face. But you're definitely going to scorch your hand. That just doesn't make sense. Why? Ugh. But you know what? Like, there are a lot of people who just, I don't know, hate themselves? I don't know. Because look at all the, like, that's the fastest way to build your YouTube channel, is just type SJW in front of everything that you write. And whatever, man, more power to them. They found a really cool shortcut. But that's all it is a shortcut. And years of marketing, international, I find that's not the best way to do things. Hey, whatever. I've been wrong before. I could be wrong now. So yeah, I don't dig the whole thing. Sean Sidrai, my eye of Agamotto. Did you hear Soul confirmed Xavier will come back to life? Yes. In fact, I think you told me that. You also say, thoughts on Rogue and Gambit and Legion 5 miniseries. Rogue and Gambit, it's always fun seeing them together. At the same time, it never seems to work out. I don't know. Like, when you think about like ideal romances, in the history of Marvel Comics, you could think of Scarlet Witch and Vision. You know what I'm saying? That's one. You can think of Jean and Scott. You can currently think of Jean and Emma. You can think about Wolverine and Jean, even though it never necessarily happened. Another big one is, what do you call it? Storm and Black Panther, Storm and Wolverine was pretty cool too, but I don't know. Honestly, you got the goddess and the king. How perfect was that, And when she just showed up again in Black Panther, not the most recent issue of Black Panther, but the prior issue a month ago, that was just great. I was like, they're gonna do it. No, they didn't. They didn't. So whatever. But you think about that. But like one of the ones you're going to inevitably come across is Gambit and Rogue, right? So it's hard to say no. It's hard to say no. I think it'll be fun, especially they'll probably like find a way to do it, and then just decide, nah, let's not do it. Let's not do it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. As far as Legion in a miniseries, I wouldn't cry to see them in a miniseries. I wouldn't be upset to see him. I said Legion because he's many. But True Mate, hey, what's going on, brother? What kind of monster burns a comic book? There's something else also. Even if it's a comic book I don't like, it's like, I hate this comic. Where's my Mylar bed and the backing and all that stuff? The tape. Make sure it's get the air out first. Keep your chest as straight as you can, or at least lay it down and gently press every time. Blah, blah, blah. Don't like this comic, and you're still gonna treat it with reverence. Like, how do some people not do that? I want to cry sometimes, man. I just look at it, I'm like, but that's the shock value. And you think about that, man. How is that any different than like a Howard Stern? You know what I'm saying? How is that any different? So, hey, but Howard Stern got a lot of money. He was really popular. Apparently, I think he's still on the airwaves on Sirius XM or something. I don't know. I don't listen to all that stuff. I haven't listened to Howard. I think the last time that I listened to Howard Stern was actually on 9/11. Yeah, like 9/11, 2001, the day that the towers fell. Because I'm just like, I keep on hearing the guys in 77 AM talking about it. And I was driving over the Driscoll Bridge in Jersey, going up north to Warren, New Jersey. And you can see the towers from there. It's not a clear view, but when they're on fire, you can see them. It's like plain as day. And I'm just sitting there looking, I'm like, oh, holy crap. I'm like, what's everybody else talking? Because I had like an hour and a half commute to get there, and it was longer that day. Go figure. Because a lot of people going towards New York. I was passing New York, staying in Jersey, going north of all that. But yeah, I'm sitting there turning the radio dials, and I was just like, you know what? Let me check out. Let's see what Howard frickin' Stern is saying about it. And whatever. I just remember it was like some funny stuff. I still remember a lot of the conversations on there. Apparently, he had just gotten a new girlfriend. Somebody was asking bad stuff about him. Whatever. I don't know. But that's what it's like. It's a shock kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It's some kind of shock marketing, you know? Oh, this is dumb. Psh, and rip it. I'm like, psh, I will not be watching this channel ever again. I won't be watching any of the, and I've seen several people do that before. One person I did see do it, and it was for X-Men Gold issue number 1. That person ripped it because it offended his Christian background. I get it. Whatever. Person's clearly not looking into the politics of it, but I get it and I understand. So that, I'm just like, and that was actually the first time I've ever seen somebody rip a comic book. I have never in my life witnessed someone rip a comic book. I just wouldn't associate with those kinds of people. Internet, you see all sorts of crazy things. So anyway, Nova also says they spend at least $5 on it just to rip it. Yeah, just to waste it. Sean s.h.i.e.l.d. I think Flint will be the one to die in Royals. You were mentioning that, and somebody else asked me about that also. He may. He's a new human. That would be weird. Like, who else could it be, right? Who else could it be? Maybe it'll be Gorgon. And yes, we'll get into that. I got it here. Nova Bro again. You reminded me of how much books and comics really are, and that's why I have you on the bar on the side of my channel page. Thank you, brother. To show people how much I love your content. Oh, okay. Oh, on the side of the... Oh, featured channels. I was actually just looking at that yesterday. I'm still trying to figure out how to do all my pages. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Do you think Royals is ending? From Sean. No, there's no way Royals can be ending. In fact, Sean, you just sent me stuff that I was going to be talking about. It's actually the next thing I have to talk about. The capstone on Inhumans will be this January. It's going to be called Judgment Day. So this is going to be like an annual of sorts, but it's going to be like it's not supposed to be an actual like 6-issue miniseries. It's supposed to be like an oversized comic that is supposed to, apparently, that this is supposed to end it all. Maybe I read it wrong because it does sound like it should be something longer than that, but like 4 issues of AVX or something like that, you know? But either way, this is actually supposed to tie in. There are lots of Inhumans comics, 4 of them out there right now, but the events that are happening in Royals and in Black Bolt, those are actually supposed to tie in and be finished. The Earth is going to be attacked by the progenitors, and the Inhumans and probably others are going to try and stop it. So, awesome. So, do I think that... No, I don't think that the Royals is going to end. If anything, Black Bolt might end. But I hope it doesn't, because Saladin Ahmed and Chris Gatos are a freaking awesome team. But more than that, just, you know what, one of the things that you and I were talking about on Twitter is the idea that I don't dig that she's with Gorgon right now. Somebody actually attacked me online, like, you guys just need to get over it. I don't actually have to get over anything. Neither does anybody else. You should, for your own health reasons, get over yelling and screaming, but whatever. It's on the internet. Just typing really loud. Oh, enter caps lock. Doesn't make sense to me. But I grew up before there were computers. You know what I'm saying? First time I ever saw a computer was in 3rd grade. Principal came in and brought in a computer. And I was like, oh, check this out. And you type home and the cursor would go up. And you could type end and the cursor would go down. You could type tree and it would tell you all the things that it would do. This is before there was MS-DOS. There was this. And so somebody, it wasn't even me, somebody asked, so what are we supposed to do with these computers? I don't know, but this is definitely the future. Well, you don't know. You know, so yeah, that was computers back when I was growing up. Yeah, I worked on one of the original programs, one of the original projects for wireless internet. Just, yeah. That's, yeah. So, oh, geez, whole bunch of stuff went by. Oh, hey, I see Lewis in the chat. What's up, brother? Doomsday Clock. Lewis, man, you and I haven't talked in a while. That needs to change. So anyway, yeah, I'm not cool with the whole Gorgon and Medusa thing. And one of the things I actually explained to the guy is, you think, like, we should just all get over it. Like, it's not a big deal. But even the people who are writing the comic have stated that it seems kind of ramrodded, because Crystal and the other Inhumans are asking Maximus, are you responsible for this? No, I'm not responsible for this at all. So a lot of people are saying, how is this? Because it's the word I keep using is ramrodded. It just feels ramridden. Just out of nowhere. Hey, check it out. No, that's not right. No, bro, I wasn't alive during 9/11, but that sounds very scary. It was. Honestly, the first thing I was thinking when it happened was that I hope I didn't want it to happen at all, but honestly, the first thing I started thinking was that Muslims are going to be blamed for it. Honestly, like, that's the first thing that went in my mind, is that Muslims are going to be blamed for it. And just, even though that did turn out to be the case, I was actually in Abha, is the area. That's where the terrorists actually met up with each other in Saudi Arabia. When I worked over there, I visited Abha and Khamis Mashat. Khamis Mashat is actually a military city, and the twin city right next to it is Abha. And yeah, I actually got to see the masjid there where they planned all that stuff, and that was under lockdown. Like, nobody was allowing. Yeah, no. that was a huge embarrassment for the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was oof. And they actually lost like 100 I think it was more than 100 soldiers, but they said approximately 100 soldiers in because, like, their regular police force, they wouldn't send for that. They actually sent the army. Plus, the military is right there in Khamis Mashat. So they actually sent the military, and in apprehending all these people, they say they actually lost about 100 people in doing that. So this was actually a big thing. I can't remember the name of the tribe that was mostly behind this, but I know that to this day, they don't talk to. They call them. They're the ones who attacked America. They're the ones who attacked our friends. That's what they actually call this tribe. There's a way to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not betrayer, but it comes across as betrayer the way that it's explained to me. So my Arabic isn't that great, but anyway, yeah. So moving along, Isaiah Quinn. I heard Scott Snyder is doing one last Batman book called Last Night. I just saw that today. Yes, it's supposed to be his final Batman book for a while, which makes sense, especially since he's going back to doing witches, which I'm excited about. And a little bit of spoiler, since Lewis from the Geek Fortress is in the chat. We plan on talking about witches right around Halloween time. Just saying. So, spotlight on story. It may just be the case. What's up, Lewis? He's fine everywhere. True Mate, what's your thoughts on the Hulu Marvel's Runaway trailer? I wanted to do a thing for that. I wanted to do a reaction for that. But my voice, for one, and two, just, yeah, no. I never get monetization for those, so it's like, it's pointless. For me, I just feel like it's pointless. I don't know how these other guys do. Like, they show the trailer, it's crisp, they don't block it out, they don't muffle the sound, they just show it. There's no way these guys are doing it just for the sake of conversation. There's no way. There's a lot of people out there, so I don't know why I'm getting hit. I don't care. It's not worth it to me. But I will give you my reaction to the trailer. The trailer looks freaking amazing. Even more than that, it looks like it's almost perfectly in line with the freaking comic book. Wow. Imagine that. Here's this source material, and comic books are already drawn in and told in storyboard format. So the panels are already there. So, like, the easiest thing in the world to turn into a movie or a TV show would be a comic book. You can't find another media that doesn't have to be translated into a screenplay. You could take this and just say, this is the source material. Act out the scenes exactly like this. You could. The only way you would have to make a screenplay is when you're going to make certain changes, which irrevocably so. You have to make certain changes. I get it. But how genius is that? The comic book is the perfect format to turn into a movie or TV show. And Hulu said, why would we change things exactly? Why would we do that? Here's a story that fans love. We know that it works, so we're going to make the fans happy by keeping it like that. And since we already know it works, the people who've never read The Runaways before will say, this is a pretty good story. Come on, man. You got a success. Why do you change it? If it ain't fixed, don't broke. If it ain't fixed, don't broke it. How tired am I? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I meant. So, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be about Batman waking up. Isaiah Quinn again. It's supposed to be about Batman waking up young with a cut-off Joker head attached to his waist that talks to him in an apocalypse world. What? Along with a baby Superman and an old Wonder Woman. The 70s weren't good to them, were they? That's wild, man. That's like he spent 15 years in the 70s. Think about what I just said. That's crazy. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Some Dr. Dennis Leary showing up for that. Johnson Dry. Maybe they're going to renumber the Inhumans books with Royals, Uncanny, and the other runs. They could. Why wouldn't they? There's so many different volumes of the Inhumans out there, right? And you know what? That's actually a good idea because it just doesn't occur to me to do things like that. The original numbering, I could care less. I understand how to look for volumes, the different volume numbers. But that's actually a great idea because, so many people think, oh, the Inhumans are just coming out of nowhere. They're trying to be the X-Men. The Inhumans haven't changed. The Inhumans have not changed in forever. The most drastic change they've ever done with the Inhumans was when they cut off Medusa's hair. There have been no changes to the Inhumans. So, the biggest change was all of a sudden, Medusa's sleeping with Johnny Storm and she's not married to Black Bolt anymore? What? That was huge for the Inhumans, The way that Karnak changed his look from that old big green melon dope thing to the green hoodie. You know what I'm saying? He wears a hoodie better than Luke Cage does. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. The different makeup style. Looks great. But that's the biggest change. How many changes? I'm naming the changes that the Inhumans have gone through. Not a lot. And they've been around. They were created within 6 months. So if you were to take the original numbering, it would still only be in the early hundreds, mid to early hundreds. But at least people could look at it and say, oh, hey, check that out. So sneak peek of The Walking Dead Season 8 premiere. Oh, Walking Dead's coming out soon. Cool. Ooh, I should do some explained in a minutes for those characters. I would love to do something like Negan. That would be great. What do you got here? So, Sean says, yes, just read that Geek Fortune. We need to catch up. Lots of New York City Comic Con gossip and spoilers. Yes, there are. We got to do a podcast again one of these days. I haven't seen BMO Comics on here for a while, and I kept on thinking to do a podcast with him, but he just fell off the map. Sean Sidrai, remember how Gene helped take care of Cable for 12 years? That proves their love was real. Yeah, right? Because that's her kid, man. That's her kid. Nova Bro is leaving. I'll see you later, brother. Here we go. Joe Fisher. Hey, what's up, Joe Fisher? And true mate, no, you don't say sup Joe. His name is Joe. You say, hey Joe, where you going with that? Gun in your hand. Jimi Hendrix, man. Jimi Hendrix. So, Geek Fortress, heck yeah, we are. Scoop. Hello, Scoop. I don't think we've ever spoken before. Hey man, love your reviews. Keep up the great work. Thank you, sir. I will, I'm going to just assume your gender and say, sir. But yes, I will Absolutely. I've actually been thinking about slowing down on doing so many reviews. Because one, like when I get sick, it hurts. Too much talking, too much talking. But I am thinking about trying to cut down on some of my smaller reviews. Just I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to do that, but like, and people keep on asking me to do more and more reviews all the time. Like, oh, check out this review, check out, do this, do that book. Oh, you got to check out this book, and they're all great books. I can't review them all. Like, just it takes too much away from my ability to like put out content for the future. Like doing last minute, like live streams or last minute explained in a minute, last minute spotlights on stories. I hate doing that. I like just being able to, have like two or three in the bin. So in case I do get sick like this, it's not that big of a deal. I fortunately had Valkyrie, and I was able to put her out today. But I still had to do the story today. I wasn't planning on doing that today, and I had to do that with my voice. And I need to be able to get stuff out in advance. But thank you for I try to do what I can with the reviews. What do you call it? And then yeah. Plus, I also want to start on my own comic book. I've got the story. I was talking to my wife and some of the guys at my comic book store about it. I really want to do my own comic book. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to tell you guys what it's about. One day, you guys will see. I'm not finished reading. Sean s.h.i.e.l.d. Remember how you said Dan Slott lost his mind over the Bobby Peter thing? Yeah, Al Ewing lost his mind with the Gorgon Medusa thing. I know, right? And it's funny because I love Medusa. She's one of the most majestic. Go figure. It's fitting, right? She's a queen. She's one of the most majestic figures out there. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, if I'm talking about going into the Marvel universe, Susan Storm, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's been with Reed for a long time. Plus, how do you compete with a guy who can, alter his body like that? I'm just saying. But that aside, like Storm, Mockingbird, and Medusa, like those three, just wow. Like not just like just the way they're written. Yes, they're beautiful. They're drawn very well, but like the way they're written and everything like that, just some of the most amazing female characters out there. Absolutely love it. You know what I'm saying? I would say Brunhilde also, the Valkyrie, but she would absolutely kick my butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So what else we got here? True mate, I'm pretty happy with the cast choices for the team. I hope it holds up. Karnak rocking the hoodie far better than Luke does. I agree. Sean, I heard Walking Dead comic might end soon. Yes, Robert Kirkman was talking about ending it pretty soon. I can't blame him. He's been doing that for so long now. It's like now he's his most popular, right? But I guess go out on top, right? Better to burn out than to fade away. So, in the words of Neil Young, great prophet that he is. Joe Fisher wasn't the Inhumans mostly cameos? Yes, in the Fantastic Four books in the early years. Then I can't remember if it was Medusa or Crystal joined the team first. Crystal joined the team first. She was also an Avenger. Go check out Crystal Explained in a Minute on my channel, and you'll see she was the first person to join all those teams. Plus, she was also kind of an honorary X-Men because she was married to Pietro Maximoff for so long and has his kid. That's Quicksilver. For those of you who aren't familiar with his homegrown name, his given name. But, what do you call it? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, they were mostly cameos in the Fantastic Four books. They also did several cameos in Thor, and they did their own Marvel premiere stuff also. Were they in Marvel Spotlight? I can't remember. And in case anybody's wondering, Marvel Spotlight, yes, that's where I get my name, Spotlight on Story, because that's what this was. Anyway, so sadly getting close to 2 later, guys. True mate. All right, I'll see you later, man. Sean s.h.i.e.l.d. Dan Slott said at New York Comic Con, no one in the Marvel Universe finds Spider-Man funny. I don't know if that's true. But in Chip Zdarsky's Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man, he's got that girlfriend who finds him funny. There's that. That aside, Dan Slott's not writing that book though, right? um, Timmy C, what's up, brother? Hi, Professor. On Twitch, they're showing New York Comic Con a good McFarlane interview. Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I know they're live on YouTube also, but I wonder if on Twitch it's a little bit better. Isaiah Quinn, I personally can't wait for Jeff Lemire, right? Yeah, my mouse was over, but yeah, Jeff Lemire, the Terrifics. Oh, yes, I saw that. That's supposed to happen after DC Dark Metal. The team is Mr. Terrific, Phantom Girl, Metamorpho, and Plastic Man. Plastic Man was my very first Explained in a Minute. I'm so happy about Plastic Man. Yeah, Plastic Man's actually a funny story with me because I love Plastic Man, and Lewis from the Geek Fortress was doing an unboxing of a loot crate or something to that effect, and he pulled out a bauble of whatever, those Funko Pop things, I think they're called, for Plastic Man. I was like, dude, that's so awesome. And we're sitting there talking to each other on the phone, and I said, dude, we should do you should do an explained video, and I used to do explained videos then, but I would do like an 8 to 10 parter of a character and really go into long depth about it. Each video would be like 10 minutes long. I'd go into exasperating detail. I just came to, and what do you call it? Then I said, he's like, oh yeah, we should definitely explain Plastic Man. So he did, but I said, I'll race you. So I did it first, and I did it quick. I just off of what I had in my head, I did it explained in a minute. And I think at the time I was calling it Explained in about a minute. And I still say that in my videos, but I just put it out there really quick. A quick little, the thumbnail is literally just like a picture I pulled off the internet, just threw it up there really quick. And I wasn't doing the logo over top of it or anything, on the side. But I just threw that up there and out there really quick just to race him. And then afterwards I realized, like, you know what? I like doing these shorter explained, videos better than these longer ones because these other ones just drag out. And who the hell wants to hear me just moan on and on and on about a character and all that forever? Just here's the basics of the character. If I ever want to go into more detail, I will, but just here's the basics. So that's actually where my Explained in a Minutes were born, having a race with Lewis. So... boom. Joe Fisher, I can't wait to see his Spawn movie. Yeah, I've been waiting to see his next Spawn movie for the past 20 years now, I think. We'll see if that ever happens. Timmy C, I mean, it's bound to happen, right? It's been too long, man. I've read DC Metal tie-ins, but I'm wondering, is Lobo in any Metal stories yet? No, he's not. I would love to see him go off on those bad bats. Right? The Doomsday version of Batman would be pretty sick. That's supposed to come out next, I think, this Wednesday. Sean s.h.i.e.l.d, the next tour from him. If there is a Dark Knight for all the Justice League members, is there a Superman Batman or Batman Batman? A Batman Batman, I guess, would just be Owlman, right? And the Superman one, yes, is supposed to be actually the Doomsday looking one. So I just explained that. Action Comics reaches 1,000, it will end. Will it end? No, it will not. In fact, I've got something on that. It's actually the last thing I was originally going to talk about, but why not? Perfect segue. Action Comics number 1K, 1,000. They are going to have several... It's going to be an oversized... They're not saying how oversized, but it's going to be an oversized issue. It's going to be a whole bunch of short stories in there. One of the stories that I'm especially excited about is a story that is written by both Jeff Johns and Richard Donner. Richard Donner, who did the original Superman movie back in the 70s with Christopher Reeve. He did the second one also. What? Really? I'm just get my seatbelt, man, and put my overhead and just 5-point buckle, for the boxcar and just go, baby, go. I'm down for that. Shoot, I'm going to review the hell out of that. Also, at the same time, they're going to concurrently release a new hardcover featuring a whole bunch of firsts. So they're going to show, it's going to be a hardcover book that releases the same time as the 1,000th issue of Action Comics. And it's going to feature like the first appearance of the Fortress of Solitude, the first appearance of Supergirl, the first appearance of Crypto. So all these different firsts, which I think is a freaking good idea. So I'm down with that. Sean s.h.i.e.l.d, thoughts on The Punisher being delayed. They were going to, so that you know, but so that everybody knows who's watching this, they were originally planning on releasing it October the 13th. So, yeah. Friday the 13th, baby. They were going to release that. That's sick. That's awesome. How awesome is it? Because they were originally going to release it in December. But they decided, let's move it up. We're done. Let's pump it up. Let's move it up to October 13th. That'd have been great. But because some jackass had to go and shoot up a country western a country western music concert over in Las Vegas, they decided to bump it back to November. I think it's going to be like mid-November or early, I think early November they're indicating. So kind of like in memorandum, and because it would potentially be in poor taste. The Punisher is probably the most controversial figure out there, you know? So, like, especially with all the gun violence, that's constantly the case. And no, in case anybody asks, I am not against the Second Amendment. I'm absolutely not. I do believe that we need a whole lot of regulation on it, though. I mean, yeah. And 6 years in the military, dude. I have a whole lot of training with guns. I don't think that there are a whole lot of people out there who have nearly as much training as I do with guns. That means gun safety, gun cleaning, gun inspection, all that stuff. Like just, and I think that, and I don't even own a gun. I have no problem telling that to people. I am a gun. But, when you go, we're in Canada, baby. We leave our doors unlocked. Nobody cares. But, like, that's the thing, dude. I do believe there do need to be regulations, and that is that. That being said, very controversial figure in The Punisher, and I think it's in good taste that they did, for the sake of conversation, move it back. I don't know that anybody would have said anything, but even just all the crap that they got over the Iron Fist, the cultural appropriation stuff, Jesus. I learned martial arts when I was 8 years old. That's when I first started learning the martial arts. Did I culturally appropriate things? Come on. So, yeah, no. It's sometimes things get a bit too far. They just get a bit too far, man. Sean, when Hulk comes back, I think they will do Hulk variants like they did when Eddie and Venom came back, and now they're doing Phoenix variants. Marvel needs to stop doing the variants, brother. Like, that's just... This is what put them out of business back in the 90s. I was there. I was there for it. I fell off of comics books before they went bankrupt. When they did go bankrupt, I literally thought to myself, it's the end of an era and it sucks. But they kind of did it to themselves. All these constant variant covers. It was ridiculous. You have one comic book with like 10 different covers. That's just pointless. That's just pointless. And now DC did the very first variant cover. Man of Steel number 75, I think it was, you know? But they didn't go nuts with it. Marvel's like, that's a great idea. 1 billion variant covers. And people didn't know what variant covers were at the time. I didn't. So I bought all 4 issue number 1s of X-Men. You know, what was I, 16 at the time? I think I was 16 at the time. 15 or 16 years old at the time when that came out. I'm like, oh, wow, 4 different issue number 1s. That's interesting. And I'm like, I already read this story. These are all the same story. What is this? You know, like, it was cool that you could put them all together, but like, you know, and make like a big, long banner poster. But come on, man. Even when I was a little kid and I saw those stupid little grow your own candy rocks, the rock candy, and the what was the big thing? The sea monkeys. Anybody who's old, where the hell is Dick? Where's Dick? Dick's not in the freaking chat, man. If Dick Fillmore was in the chat, he would know. He would be able to tell you all about the freaking sea monkeys. They had these stupid sea monkey commercial, you know, things, and then you cut it out and then put on your address and stuff like that and mail it, and then they would send you sea monkeys, living sea monkeys, like this new organism that would do things. It's like, dude, sea monkeys. I wanted sea monkeys. But I couldn't imagine ripping up a comic book. You know, I couldn't imagine doing that. I'm going to pull the freaking covers off of my comic book. What the hell's the matter with these people? Never going to happen. So, yeah, I was, needless to say, quite upset. I was quite upset. And just, moving on. So, now DC goes and does the lenticular covers, which I thought were beautiful, and it was a great idea to do for the the button, you know, Batman 20 and 21 and the Flash 20 and 21 of this current volume. Just came out, you know, a couple months ago. They did the lenticular covers. I have all 4 lenticular covers. I have the first 3 of them signed by Jason Fabok. I'm very, very happy about that, you know? And boom, right there, baby. So, like, what's going on here? Why is Marvel all of a sudden saying, lenticular cover sold? That's a great idea. Put out $1 billion. Come on, man. Come on, Marvel. Like, do we not learn from history? Are we doomed to repeat it? Oh, people are attacking in the chat. So when Hulk comes back, yes, just saw it. Okay, Timmy C. So, did you really not see the cameo of Stan Lee in The Gifted? No, I didn't, and I have to go back and look at that again. No, I genuinely did not see the... Where was the freaking cameo? You probably say it down here. Nope, you did not. Yeah, please say where it was so I can find it. I did not see the Gifted Stan Lee cameo. Son of a gun. Sean S.h.i.e.l.D. I heard the Power Pack 63 will connect to Marvel Legacy. It's gotta. Everything's gonna connect to the Legacy in some way, shape, or form or another. Everything ties back to that. That's what was that's the press release that was put out. Isaiah Quinn, I understand that Black Bolt's supposed to go back to Earth, yes, in Marvel Legacy, but he's supposed to be put on trial because of what happened to the Inhumans in Secret Empire. He's supposed to be put on trial for that? I didn't read about that, but if you're right, dude, that's... Wow. The trial of Black Bolt. Why not? Dude, if they play that right... You remember there was the trial of Magneto, and there were actually 2 trials of Magneto. All right? That was some of the best reading you're going to come across. Like, that was great. Magneto had to answer for his crimes. And he pled guilty, which is just, you know, like throwing yourself at the mercy of the court. In comic books, in TV, on the movies, that's great. You don't do that in real life. You don't throw yourself, Judge, I would like to throw myself at the mercy of the court. Execution. You know, like you don't trust people to be merciful. Like, this is a very punitive system in the Northwest, dude. No, you don't throw yourself at the mercy of anybody. People don't have mercy. Joe Fisher, you know there is 2 different Superman 2 movies with 2 different directors. Huh? Please explain. Timmy C. I saw a video many years ago from Canada where, yes, the neighbors leave their front doors unlocked and the man doing the story just walked right into an elderly couple. Yeah, that was, what the heck is that dude's name? Michael... I want to call it to my wife, but she's going to have a brain fart too if I say it. Anyway, he's the guy that did Bowling for Columbine. And in fact, I think this was the Bowling for Columbine movie that he did this at the documentary. Yes. Make no mistake. A lot of us will lock our doors. Like, I'm American in Canada. You know what I'm saying? I'm an American in Canada, so I lock my doors. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, in general, yeah, we just, like, during the day, you don't need to lock your door. You're going to be going in and out, in and out. Why do you need to lock your door for? You know what I'm saying? But what else? Yeah, the elderly couple were surprised, but then they subsequently offered him an iced tea, like no problem at all. Yeah, the politeness of Canadians is legendary. But remember, like I'm in the Ontario, I'm in the GTA. I'm in the Greater Toronto area, not Toronto proper, but the GTA, the Greater Toronto area, yeah, no, no, not. They don't have the same kind of politeness. Usually when somebody says sorry to you on the street, it's like, sorry? You know, almost like, you know, butthead? So, yeah, not quite the same. But outside, like I've been out in the boonies, so to speak. And yeah, they're much more polite out there. Much more understanding. They're willing to hear you out. Like, you know, what did you just say? Joe Fisher, I heard like 6 or so comics will finally get a series-ending story. Interesting. I also heard that Storm is going to get a story in and of itself. She's going to get a... did I even write that down here? What the heck is the matter with me? Storm is supposed to get her own series pretty soon. That's the rumor that just came out from NYCC. We'll see if New York Comic Con lies. Sean S.h.i.e.l.D. Good night. What? You're leaving? Fine. I'll talk to you later, brother. Um, I thought ISO was queen. Not queen, but like a president. Yes, she is in charge. Why would Black Bolt be put on trial, not ISO? Well, there's no need for ISO to be put on trial. She wasn't responsible for anything. She wasn't in charge during that time. Actually, Medusa was in charge at the time. So I don't know why she wouldn't be put on trial. Timmy C. I had sea monkeys, but they died because of the wrong kind of water was added. Who knew tap water would kill them? Oh, so what? They're saltwater creatures? Good to know. You also say, I got a few lenticular covers, but I like them. Yeah. When you're going to get the ones you're going to like and all that. But when they start putting out too many, like there are a lot of people who will think, I have to get this. It's going to be, they're only putting out a lenticular cover if it's going to be like a really awesome, thing. And pretty soon they're just putting out lenticular covers for everything. And no. Now you can't tell what's special anymore, Like they put out lenticular covers apparently for the Generations books. There was absolutely nothing special about those Generations books. Like, they didn't even need... You could maybe do a single variant cover for them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 2. They had like 6. It's just ridiculous. Joe Fisher. Stanley's coming out of a building as someone goes in. Ah, okay. I have to look for that. Oh, what is this? Oh, I missed Timmy also saying, Stan just walked out of the bar... Maybe a quarter of the way in. He didn't look at the camera or speak, though. I was surprised I even saw it, but yep, he was there. And Joe Fisher adds on. He was coming out of a building and someone was going in. Okay, cool. I'll look for it. Quarter of the way in. Isaiah Quinn, I heard about Joshua Williams is doing a Flash event called Flash War next year. Yes, that's right. It's supposed to finally prove who is the best Flash between Wally and Barry. I'm really excited for that comic. But it's got to be Barry. Like, it's got to be Barry, man. It's got to be Barry. Timmy C., here's something you may be able to confirm. You mentioned having your comic signed, but I remember 30 years ago when the thought was if a comic was signed, it actually lowered the value. 30 years ago, I wouldn't know. 30 years ago, I was in my early teens. So, honestly, I don't know. It may be the case, though. Because, yeah, that would have been early 90s. Jack Kirby would have just died. Jack Kirby died in 1992. It's hard to say, and it depends on the individuals. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm of the opinion, like, I have no problem. Just deface my whole cover, dude. If you made this cover, deface it. If you wrote this comic, deface it. You know what I'm saying? You're increasing the face, as far as I'm concerned, That's like body art for the comic. Isaiah Quinn. Also, Weapon H will survive the Weapon X team because they can't even seem to hurt the guy. Because he's getting his own spin-off book called Weapon H in March of next year. That's right. That is absolutely right. That's actually one of the things I have on here. So thank you. Just cut that off. Timmy C. A new Deadman comic, yes, is coming out where in the description it says that you can hold it up to the sunlight and it shows something new. That's awesome! Sweet! And DC is doing that. They're, of course, the innovators. Marvel's going to have every other comic on the block doing the exact same thing. You watch. But, anyway, yeah, Deadman is supposed to do that. And in this comic, they're actually supposed to explore, because Batman doesn't know who killed his parents. Deadman is going to find out. He's going to investigate and find out who killed him. And apparently it's going to involve the League of Shadows, which will inexorably lead to a Batman crossover. I like Deadman, so I'm interested in seeing that. I think that's going to be pretty hot. Okay, good. So the end there. Let's go. Boom. Oh, no, I do have it on here. Axel Alonso. Axel Alonso is the guy who mentioned that's the new Storm comic will be coming out. The capstone on Inhumans, Weapon X series. Last thing I've got to talk about is Batman White. Batman White Knight. November 1st is the next issue going to come out. And realistically, I was just going to talk about how, life sucks and then you die. How the Joker seems to be going really freaking loco en la cabeza. And, is he actually still crazy? Is he actually cured? Is he just pretending? Is he at his craziest and he's just pretending to be us? Because he always sees us as more crazy than him. And there is a lot of talk on there that DC that the writer is actually suggesting no, this is not meant to be a pro or anti SJW movement comic. But the term was used more than once in the book. And somebody actually pointed out in the chat there, which I thought was impressive, that if it weren't directed towards the internet, then it would have said liberal as opposed to SJW. The SJW is a very internet savvy term. It's not something that you're going to hear in general on the news and things like that. So that was actually a really good point. Excellent observation. Go back and check out the video and look in the comments section to see who wrote that, because that was a really good point. But yeah, geez, a whole bunch of more stuff. Timmy C, I think that the ink on the cover may have ill-affected the comic, and maybe depending on how old the comic is. Do you think a Fantastic Four #1 is worth more with Stan Lee's signature or without it? I think that most of the time people would sign on the inside just out of respect. Plus, it would be easier. Like at the time, even the comic covers were always glossy, so I think that the markers it would be expected that it would rub off. Even when Jason Fabak was signing my cover, I was thinking to myself, wow, you can actually sign the cover. It's not the permanent ink isn't just going to come off. It's like, no, it's permanent. Permanent ink don't mean it's necessarily permanent. You could write on plastic, it rubs right off, and it's all over your hand. Now it's permanent there. It's only permanent on certain things. He's like, no, it's permanent here. It's like, sexy, awesome, I love it. Good looking out. So, yeah. But back in the day, I don't think they had the same kind of permanency to their permanent markers. So, they would usually sign inside next to their names anyway. So, yeah. That what? Like you made me think about that. That's a good point. Joe Fisher, the first director. In fact, honestly, like more specifically, there are times when I thought to myself, like, if I ever see Ta-Nehisi Coates. And I actually saw Brian Selfreeze, and I didn't realize he was going to be at this Comic-Con, the Fan Expo. Didn't realize he was going to be there. Otherwise, I would have brought one of my 2 issues of Black Panther issue #1. Like, dude, please deface my cover. You know what I'm saying? But instead I got this, where he signed it out to Professor Bill, and he actually did a video for me. It was a quick little 3-second video, but the video didn't take. So I'm all sorts of infuriated in that. But yeah, I got that, so that's something. But okay, the first director, Joe Fisher, the first director, quit the movie, and it wasn't finished, but they finished it, and I think it's Superman 2. The director cut. Some of the scenes are a little different in some of the movie. No, the director's cut is actually Richard Donner's director's cut. So no, it is all by Richard Donner. The only thing that was ever actually different was that was there a director before Richard Donner? I did hear something about that. You're making a good point. It may be the case. Honestly, I don't know enough about it to comment on that. So, yeah, maybe. I'm actually going to have to look that puppy up. Timmy C. That's the dead man with Neil Adams doing the art. Yes, and I'm really happy that Neil Adams is doing that. Neil Adams, it's funny, he actually mentioned in an interview that he loved doing Deadman more than any of the other characters he's ever done, including Batman, go figure. So, excuse me, Timmy is doing all the talking here. Batman White Knight has an interview on Jim Lee's Facebook where he interviews the creator of that book. Really? Nice. Okay. Jim Lee's Facebook. Good point. Maybe on an older comic, good idea would be to have people signed inside. Yeah, I think that's where, just instinctively, that's where they would do it. They would sign it next to their name so you could see, hey, I'm this guy. Hey, I'm this guy. Yeah. All right. So, guys, we're just about on the hour mark, about a minute and a half away from that, and I was really expecting to get on here for 15 minutes and be like, guys, I can't do a podcast. Sorry, bye. So, yeah, not the case. Anyway, guys, I genuinely appreciate everybody showing up. I appreciate all the interaction. The podcast seriously would not be the same without all that interaction. So I can't possibly express with words my appreciation. So, yeah, all that being said, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to leave the comment section up for a little while and all that. But, yeah. Anyway, Thanks for showing up. Guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.